The European Union was born from the ashes of destructions of war and a desire for peace. The Second World War sowed death and destruction. There were more than 55 million Europeans who died, mostly civilians. If we consider it a slaughter in some countries, which would have meant the killing of all inhabitants and deleting from the map of Europe the following countries: Portugal, Ireland, Denmark, Austria, Luxembourg, Belgium, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Cyprus and Malta. The buildings reduced to ashes or so badly damaged that could not be used were 8.5 million, almost as many as the current population of Portugal. Thus, EU founding countries, France, Germany, Italy and the Benelux countries, Belgium, the Netherlands and Luxembourg, decided to create a community which ensured that divergences could be resolved around the table and never again with weapons in hand. That is why the European Coal and Steel Community was born in 1952, which objected the production of coal and steel, at the time essential materials to the war effort, to a community entity and not to national control. Over the years, the Union has been deepening and broadening. Its founding countries gave way to the Europe of the Nine with the entry in 1973 of Denmark, the Republic of Ireland and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. With the entrance of Greece in 1981, EU consisted in 10 member states. In 1986, with the arrival of the European nations, Portugal and Spain, EU turned into 12, reaching 15 in 1995, with the acceptance from Sweden, Austria and Finland. The biggest enlargement occurred in 2004 with the inclusion of 10 new member states within the EU: Cyprus, Slovakia, Slovenia, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Poland and the Czech Republic. In 2007 the EU grew up to a total of 27 member states with the entry of Bulgaria and Romania. Finally, since 2013, became the Europe of the 28 with the entrance of Croatia. With so many member states, it's not always easy to find solutions that are in the best interests of all the majority, but this is the secret of success. Make common solutions secure peace in Europe and contribute to our economy, social and cultural development, in a space that we want more integrated and with less asymmetries, important in economy, social and territorial cohesion. There are 5 symbols of the European Union. The flag, consisting of a circle of 12 golden stars on a blue background. The motto, United in Diversity, written by a group of students from Luxembourg who speak the language of Camões, Portuguese language. The euro, the European Union currency. The Europe Day, the 9th of May, which marks the Schuman Declaration of May 9th, 1950. And the anthem, drawn from the hymn to joy of the 9th Symphony of Beethoven. Symbols that already existed and are recognized for a long time ago. However, its consecration in the treaties was not specific. There was no consensus to be enshrined in the Lisbon Treaty. 16 of the 27 member states that subscribed to the Treaty of Lisbon recognized these symbols. Portugal is one of these countries. Today we are not only Portuguese, we are also European. It is a complementary citizenship. We do not give up being Portuguese to be European citizens. On the contrary, we are only European because we are Portuguese first. There is no way to directly acquire European citizenship without being via a European Union nationality. Each European citizen has several rights. enjoy free movement, possibility of electing and be elected in the country where he/she decided to settle, enjoy diplomatic and consular protection in the third state in which Portugal might not have diplomatic services, possibility of exercising the right of petition, possibility of appeal to the European Ombudsman, have access to documents in own language. For all of us, being a European citizen is a strengthening of our rights, in particular for the Portuguese living and working abroad in an EU country. They're not considered immigrants, but citizens. European treaties are the most important legal texts we call primary law. They are unanimously agreed by all member states and ratified, either by parliament or by referendum, in accordance with the constitutional norms of each state. The first treaty was signed in 1951 between the 6 founding countries, France, Germany, Italy, Belgium, Luxembourg and the Netherlands, and created the ECSC, the European Coal and Steel Community, withdrawing national control of the production of these materials, which, at the time, were essential to the war effort. In 1957, the same 6 countries signed the Rome Treaty establishing the EEC, the European Economic Community, providing for a custom union and the creation of a single market. On the same date, and also in Rome, the treaty establishing the Euratom, the European Atomic Energy Community, was signed. In 1965, in Brussels, the Merger Treaty was signed, establishing the same institution, the organs of 3 existing communities, the ECSC, the EEC and the Euratom. The 3 distinct communities became only one European Commission. In 1987, the Single European Act entered into force, which had been signed in Luxembourg and The Hague. The Single Act strengthens the power of the European Parliament and approves these measures necessary for the establishment of the internal market until 1992. It was in this year that the Treaty on European Union was signed in Maastricht, based on 3 pillars: the European Community, the common foreign and security policy, and justice and home affairs cooperation. This treaty launches the economy and monetary union, which would lead to the creation of the single currency, the euro, defining as well the concept of European citizenship. In 1997, the Treaty of Amsterdam was signed, which would come into force 2 years later. This treaty strengthens the protection of fundamental rights, establishes a community employment policy, brings together parts of justice and home affairs matters, and enhances the power of the European Parliament. In 2001, the Treaty of Nice was signed, which would also come into force only 2 years later. This treaty created the conditions for the great enlargement that was to take place in 2004. The size and composition of the European Union, the weighting of votes in the Council, the extension of qualified majority voting will all change, and enhanced cooperation was facilitated. In 2007, the Treaty of Lisbon was signed on the 13th of December, entering into force on the 1st December 2009. This treaty is mainly aimed at streamlining decision-making processes, ensuring the effective functioning of institutions in a wider Europe. The treaty also strengthens the participation of national parliaments in monitoring the principle of subsidiarity, attaches legal value to the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union, and creates the European Citizens Initiative.
A petição legislativa, ou seja, a iniciativa de cidadania, que explicamos também no Minuto Europeu número 32.
The Lisbon Treaty created the European Citizens Initiative, i.e., the ability of citizens to propose European laws. The process begins with the Citizens Committee that has electoral capacity and resides in 7 different member states. The committee should ask to register its initiative with the European Commission, explaining the scope of its proposal and the legal foundations on which it is based. Within 2 months, the Commission shall rule on whether the initiative is lawful, accepting it or refusing registration. Once the initiative is accepted, the committee shall within 1 year collect at least 1 million signatures or electronic subscriptions from a minimum of 7 member states. The least number required per country depends on its size. For example, 4,500, 15,750 or 72,000 are the figures for Luxembourg, Portugal and Germany respectively. If the million signatures are respected in accordance with these rules, tenderers meet with the European Commission and can represent their initiative at a public hearing held in the European Parliament. The European Commission is obligated to publish the initiative and explain the sequence given. This European Citizenship initiative represents the creation of a legislative petition and encourages the participation of European citizens.
Dos cidadãos europeus.
Current European politics created new words that the media use on a regular basis. One of the most recent is Brexit, which results from the contraction of the words Britain and exit to signify the departure of the United Kingdom from the European Union. Some populist leaders in other countries want to follow the British example. The Dutchman Gert Wilders defends an exit, i.e. the contraction of the word Netherlands with exit, that is, the departure of the Netherlands from the European Union. After the British referendum, Brexit began to refer to the contraction of the word Britain with regret, in an allusion to the English who have already regretted having voted for Brexit. Brexit became also a popular word which results from the contractions of the words Greece and exit. In this case, Grexit refers to a negotiated exit of Greece from Euro, distinguishing itself from the Gresident, contraction of the word Greece, and accident, which designates an abrupt exit following a default, that is, a Greek insolvency.
Pode encontrar estas e outras palavras em www.carloscoelho.eu/dicionário.